We're going to be working on our hands today, where many of us feel a lot of pain and stiffness. Preserve or create a little more space in our joints. We'll do a little self-massage, and for a bonus at the end, we'll do some deep tissue work in the neck, where most of us hold a lot of tension. Just find a comfortable place to sit, and I hope you enjoy. It's important that you're sitting comfortably, so if sitting on the floor is not your favorite place to be, just get comfortable on a chair. We're going to get started with just warming up the hands. Both sides. And switch. Fingers will interlace and just make a little figure 8 here. You might already hear some popping or cracking. And I just want you to be mindful that throughout our practice together here, you're paying attention to what's coming up in your body. If there's pain or pinching, I'll want you to scale back, especially if you're dealing with something with arthritis or a chronic injury. Reverse the direction of those figure 8s. We're working with the body that shows up today, and hopefully over time we'll create a little more space in the joints and less pain. Hands will switch, so now I feel awkward. You're changing the interlace of the hands and reverse. Switch directions. Okay, and just shake them out. We're going to start with a little bit of muscle activation to warm the hands up and get the blood flow. Making a little fist, my thumbs are on the outside. I just want you to squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. Twice more. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. You're going to try to squeeze and now pull down a little. So we're just going to do a little pump in. So I'm trying to pull the fist towards me, feeling a huge stretch on the top of the knuckle and into the forearm. 4, 3, 2, last one. And just wiggle those fingers. I want you to imagine you're putting on a glove, right? So my right hand is going to slide down the left. And I want you to try to just ever so slightly flex the hand towards you and pull back with the right as you flex the left. Release and pull, release and pull. For 4, 3, 2, last one. And then we'll switch. Try to give me that little flex up with the fingers. Flex. 5, 4, pull those fingers towards you. 3, 2, last one. Okay, just roll them out. Okay, let's begin with our left hand. I just want you to take your right fingers and slide across the top of the hand. Just really gently, this should feel good. Working a little bit more on that deep tissue work. And using your right thumb, I want you to come right into the webbing of the hand. And I want you to really relax your left hand here. Let it go along for the ride. You'll notice my wrist is kind of twisting here. Actually feels really good. Use your thumb across the inside of the hand. I'm kind of wrapping and rolling the left hand across the thumb as it drags. And you can continue to use the thumb, but I actually like to use my knuckles here. I'm going to rest my arm down on my leg or a countertop, and I'm just going to make really small circles into the forearm. Not pressing too hard. And try to get all the way around, right? So just looking for different areas where you might feel maybe some tension or trigger point. You can try squeezing your thumb, right? I'm kind of squeezing, and you're letting that thumb do some of the work. Now as you do this, see if maybe moving the wrist here, I'm going to pull the wrist down as I squeeze and massage at the same time. All right. Right hand is going to come right to the crease of the elbow, and I want you to try to stay connected to the inside or the outside of the elbow and make a circle. Try to reverse that direction. We're just working on a little bit of mobility here. It's also nice to take a circular action on hinge and joints. All right. For our stretch, I'm going to support the base of my finger. So I'm going to use my thumb on the base of the finger and gently stretch. Each finger gets its own stretch, right? So I tend to think that this is a little more effective than if we were to try to stretch the whole hand, but rather doing each one individually. I can hear things kind of popping and releasing. Completely normal and good. We're going to go to the base of the thumb. So I'm going to use thumb to base of thumb and gently push the hand away as I draw the thumb back. And let's just find our way back to the beginning. If you sit at a computer, you might want to think about doing this during the day, at a lunch break, or in a conference call. You can do this on a Zoom call down here, no one will see you. Okay, just give that hand a little release. And now we're going to take each finger itself and we're just going to do a little twist between the joints. So we have those 3 sections. I'm just going to do a little twist and roll. And then when I get to the end, I'm going to give it a little jiggle and pull. No pain, this should feel pretty good. Twist. And pull. I want you to think of this as creating that synovial fluid, right? We're trying to find more space in the joints. Especially if there's arthritis, this is one you might want to visit daily. Just be really gentle with it. And the thumb too. We need to do this for our feet too. I'll have to do a part 2, healthy joints, feet. Okay, I want you to put your hands together. And now you may not, but just notice, is one hand longer than the other? And I know I'm not making that up because I've done this a few times and I keep saying that can't possibly be true, but just notice if one hand is longer than the other. I am significantly longer on my left side than my right side. Okay, second side. I want you to slide across the top of that hand. Right hand relaxes, right? So it's our left thumb that is making that right wrist begin to roll a bit. Try the inside of the hand here. So I'm just going to kind of roll through. So my thumb is rolling from index to pinky. Now you can continue to use your thumb. All right, you can use your thumb to begin to work your way up the forearm, or if that's a bit much, you want to rest the thumb, try using your knuckles. Just gentle pressure. Inside and outside. And you'll try that same action. So I'm gonna bring my hand right to the crease of the right elbow. And then try to stay connected. So I want my left hand to stay connected to the either inner or outer part of that elbow as I make a circle with my right. Try the other direction. And release. All right, let's begin. I'm going to use my thumb on the back of that right hand and just gently pull. Remember to keep the other fingers wide because they will want to maybe curl in a bit here. So just try to keep them nice and wide. Don't rush through this. We want each finger to get attention. Nothing's left out. For the thumb, I'm just gonna kind of brace at the base and just gently pull, opening my hand wide. And let's go back. Gentle pull, brace at the base of that finger. All right, and just give that hand a little roll. Let's do our tug and pull. So I'm just gonna gently give me that little corkscrew around the joints. And then just that little tug. My hands feel so good after I do this all the time and I forget to do it or how necessary it really is. Not just for arthritis, but this is wonderful for arthritis. So if you know someone who needs this, just make sure you pass it on to them. I wish I had digital content like this when my grandmother was still alive, and I think she would have probably really enjoyed this. She used to complain that she was stuck, maybe sitting all day or watching the Golden Girls. I won't complain though, because I love the Golden Girls, but I think she would have liked to have a little follow-along routine to work with the hands or whatever you can. And don't forget, you can just kind of do this throughout the day. It doesn't have to be in a follow-along format. I tend to do a follow-along format. Just pull down, do a little twisting. I tend to like follow-along formats because I'm very guilty of watching YouTube tutorials on things. And then guess who doesn't do them? Yours truly. In theory, I'd like to do them, but I just think I'm gonna do that later and then I don't do it. Okay, let's just test our hands. Palms are gonna touch. Let's bring it together. Let's see how we did. Hopefully you'll be even on both sides, or if you were longer on one side than the other. All right, hopefully your hands are feeling a little more alive. Now we're gonna finish with just a little bit of deep tissue work in our neck. If you're sitting on the floor with me, just take a moment to interchange your legs in the awkward way. We'll start again with the left side. Bring your left fingertips to the side of your neck. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna shorten my muscle fibers by leaning to the left. And I'm just gently pressing the pads of my fingers into the side of my neck. Now with that pressure, I want you to slowly lift and come all the way over to the right. We want to shorten the muscle fibers. I'm going to move my fingers down slightly. And then I'm going to come up and over. So the act of tilting to the left is what gets us a little bit deeper, right? Because we're shortening. And then we're lengthening as we press. And each time I do this, I'm moving my fingers a little further down or to the side. You can also try tilting. So I'm going to maybe look to the right. I'm going to lean in, tilt and turn. And just notice how this feels. Can you feel the tension you might be holding in the neck? And we're gonna do a little bit of a fascial pull. So I'm gonna take my right fingertips right to the hairline. I'm gonna use my left fingertips to press and drag down. And I'm just gonna do a couple of those, just kind of pulling my fingertips apart in opposite directions. You're sitting up tall, you're breathing. Right fingertips are pushing in, but pulling up at the same time. Left fingertips are dragging down. Sometimes I might just find a spot and give a little bit of a press there. Option to come right into the trap. I'm going to come right over the crest of the shoulder and just do that same shortening technique. I'm going to press in and then I'm going to come across, maybe look. So I'm going to go tilt and then rotate and look away from that pressure. All right, and release. Just give it a half circle. Just notice how you're feeling between your two sides. All right, let's take a look at that right side. Pads of the fingers come in, shorten your muscle fibers, we press, up and over. Remembering that the two sides might feel very different. Try that slow nod of the head, yes or no, as you tilt. And you may find a spot that has a trigger point. You'll feel like a little knot there. And I like to just kind of give it that little nod. Give constant pressure. Use that tilt to really press in, and then we lengthen as we come up and over. We'll work that fascial pull. I'm going to use my left fingertips right at the hairline. So I'm tacking to the skin as I drag the right down. It's as if we're kind of pulling the fingers apart. Same thing here. If you find that little knot, you might want to just take those pads of the fingers and make a little circle. And we'll come right back into that tilt. I'm just going to press the fingers right into that area, right where the neck and the shoulder meet. We're on our trap. Shorten the distance. Come up and over. Maybe do a little head tilt here. This is something you might want to consider if you know that you're working at a desk. There might be issues like a forward head carriage where working the tissues in the neck would really be helpful. Come back to center, relax those shoulders, sit nice and tall, palms face the ceiling. I just want you to acknowledge how you're feeling in your body. Okay, opening your eyes. Hopefully you might have learned something new today or found a new exercise or stretch that you can do on a daily basis, or use this as a follow along when you need it. If you're feeling that relief in your hands or in your neck, exercise that finger by giving this a thumbs up. Hopefully I'll work with you soon, and namaste.